travelling to my sites, working my bees.
G'day, my name's Alan Teskey. My main aim in beekeeping is to experiment and to obtain as much honey from the hives as possible.
This is the 24 by 1200 15mm thick sheets of structural ply flooring that we cut up, or not that we cut up, we get the local timber merchant to cut up into the 241 pieces, and then we cut it up into the supers to make our beehive supers. Two different jigs, one for making the sides and one for making the ends. When using 241mm deep full depth supers, it is very crucial that the rebates for the frames to sit on are not more than 12mm deep, so that you get about 1.5 mm to 2mm on the top and the bottom of the frames. By using these sizes, I get very little burr comb between the supers. My trusty 1960s vintage Durden Junior Joiner and my new Aldi saw bench. Working timber, you create a lot of sawdust. This is timber that we use for making the lids, and it's all marked out in the full length timbers. After the full lengths are marked out, the power saw is used for cutting the top and bottom, and then a jigsaw is used for cutting the two short vertical sections so that the scrap piece of timber just falls out and leaves an opening for the size of the TEK vent. We're now cutting the lids, ends, a little bit longer than what is required, and then they're trimmed off after the sheeting's put on so that there's no splitting of the timbers. It's a lot easier to do it this way than having split timber to contend with. These particular Nuce are 4 frame, and they are just about ready to be painted after the sanding has been completed. All the recessed screws are bogged and then sanded so that you get a nice smooth flush finish, which the supers will last for up to 20 years plus if they're looked after correctly. This is all riser strips, 19 by 12mm, and I plane them down to around about 11mm. I cut them in full strips or full lengths, and then I cut them to suit the actual 4-frame Nuke bases. This is the first stack of 4-frame Nuke boxes ready for the handles, and that's the second stack with the bases and lids sitting on top. Here I am nailing the lid frames together. One of the TEK designed bases, 1980s design. The whole purpose of sanding the corners of the tops of the supers is so that your hive tool will fit in between without damaging the tops or bottoms of the timber of the supers. Lastly, the handles are put on before painting. After they've had their final coat, I store them around the back with my other gear, and there's a space to put in between each one until I'm ready to use it, and the paint hardens without them all sticking together.